leader of Best Life, Jen.
Hi, everybody.
And we are going to expand on the Abraham now, because she have started with something that had its name's Abraham Now, and it's 3 times a week. She have 1 hour of session with speaking from what's going on now and forward, and how we can tuning into the newness of all of this happening right now in the collective, what do you say, in the collective, for that we are all in this together, that's happening, the pandemic and all of these things. So there's a lot of new things coming through for knowing that all is well, all is good. Still, when there is things conditional based happening outside of ourselves, we always have the ability to feel or alignment from inside of ourselves. So Jen, do you love to expand out? It's already been 2 sessions now with Abraham for 2 hours, and what is your with all of this, what are you love to share about this?
Well, I'd love to just start with saying, for everybody, because there's a lot of fun things happening in our world right now, or interesting, or contrasting, depending on where you're at. And it's so important to be okay where you're at. So, to acknowledge if you are feeling like, wow, my business is really being impacted, or my family life, or my regular life is really undergoing some changes right now. My kids are home, or all these things. Acknowledge what you're feeling and be okay with it. One of the biggest messages from Abraham, and really I would say directly from Source God and from your own inner being, is to be okay with where you're at and let others be where they're at. They can only be where they're at, and you can only be where you're at. And why that's so important is because if you can acknowledge, I'm feeling really good, right? Well, great, you're right on track. I'm feeling stressed. Okay. Can you be okay with that? Can you bridge that forward? And in doing so, you'll feel your connection, your guidance, because we have 2 points of attraction. One, here in our human experience, right, where we're seeing all kinds of different things, fun things, interesting things, maybe contrasting things happening around you. But the other is from non-physical, from source, from our inner being. You could call that your soul, the broader aspect of who you are. And that, from that perspective, all is well. Everything you've asked is given. And everything that the whole consciousness of this universe has asked for has been given. So, and it's kind of nice, actually, how Source sort of, and I'll just give credit to Source God, right, for all of this, right, because it just feels right, has kind of orchestrated all of these askings and kind of put things in a little bit of a pause, kind of shifted things, interrupted some human streams of consciousness, some typical ways of doing things. And already, even with the little bit of interruption that we've experienced, the little bit of disruption, or you could say a lot. I don't want to discredit what you're feeling, because you may feel a lot of disruption. But even with that, there's already so many beautiful things that are happening. People are having family meals together, right? Think about how many people have wanted to sit around the dinner table, and now it's happening. Clear, they have these satellite images, and they show the air over China and other places that typically had a lot of congestion or smog. Clear air. Waterways in Venice and different places that were so gunked up and polluted, clean. And wildlife, sea animals and things coming back in. And these are just a few of the things that are already coming in. So when you can be okay with where you're at, you'll start to notice the good things that are happening. You'll know that all is well, and that every particle in the universe is rooted in well-being. every single one of them, even those so-called virus cells, right? Or particles, or whatever you want to call them, right? They're in there too. They have the potential for well-being. And they are, from what might not look like well-being right from where you're at, they are truly inspiring. The best from us, the best, and a big, a global, universal kind of a shifting. So I'll pause there.
It's so good, Jen, and I love everything you share about it. It's so nice to know that we are okay where we at, and to acknowledge it in those feelings that comes, that it's okay, but also to moving forward, and that we can still moving forward. We're not stuck as well. Energy moves forward, and we can always lead up to feeling and good thoughts for better and better, and to feeling better and better whatever condition. And isn't that a nice time right now? Because now many people are reflecting, many people are for themselves, and you really have the time for yourself now to really tune into this vibration of who you really are. It's a really good time for newness and refreshment. Like everything have been stopping a little bit up, many places, but now to reflecting and to also enjoying, appreciating. There is so many things you can do right now, for many tools you have, and you can use, you can practice your vibration to more of feeling good and better and better and better. So do you want to expand that out, the tools Abraham will talk about? Not like she talked about the calibration today. That was a wonderful tool. It was amazing to listen.
I would love to talk about calibration. Oh, I would love to talk about this. And this is something, we've been using to a greater degree in Best Life, and for sure. But so here's what it is: calibration. And they said, you can do this with a piece of paper or a notebook that opens on two sides. So however feels best to you. And on the left side of the paper, write what you're really feeling, just a little bit of the situation that's happening. Okay. For example, like I'm feeling kind of stifled, or, my life has changed, or I'm not able to work, whatever it is, not too much, a little bit, right? Just briefly, what it is. Why? Because remember, be okay with where you're at. You have to know where you're at. You got to know where you're at, right? This is where I'm at. And I'll just add this in here, just for a bit of soothing, right? We are such adaptive beings, right? We can adapt to anything, right? We are natural adapters, and we can, so all is well in that. But so whatever you're feeling, right? Your life has shifted a little bit for the current moment in some way. And then ask yourself, well, how does that make me feel, right? And you don't want to, this is kind of short, you're just writing a couple sentences on what's happening, and then how does it make you feel? So really just be honest. Don't go, I actually feel okay about it, but you don't. Like, really write what you feel. I feel nervous about this, or I feel fearful about this, or I feel sad, whatever it is. Don't go, this is not, okay, this is something to do short. This side of the page, short. So it's not like you want to go and list out, woo, look at me, I have 100 negative emotions. That's not more valuable.
You're not putting so much attention on it, right? But just like briefly,
right.
Like you said.
Right, exactly. But you want to identify where you're at and how it's making you feel. And then now you get to go to the other side of the page, and you can use a word like however. It's a nice
however
word.
That's a really good one.
However, or typically, or predominantly, or mostly,
or usually,
or usually, generally, right? Any of these, right? However, is nice. Anything that gives you a, right? Oh, here's a problem. However, right? We'll just stick with that one. It's kind of playful. And now you can ask yourself questions. and here's the point of the questions you ask yourself. You want to be able to answer them in a positive way. So keep them general. Keep them something where you know you can answer yes to. So for example, you could say something like, in my life generally, do I most of the time feel under the grips of complete fear? Or do I generally feel pretty happy and upbeat? Well, I generally feel pretty happy and upbeat, right? You know, you could ask yourself something like, you know, do I feel like nothing ever works out for me? My life is a complete sucking down. It's like nothing works, absolutely nothing. Or, you know, things generally work out. Sometimes they take a little time. Sometimes they are a little different than what I think, but they generally work out for me, right? Which side? Which is more true for you, right? Mm-hmm. You know, so these are easy questions. And by just those little shifts, you could say, in terms of my business, right? Is my business something that, you know, is so fragile that you know, it can't be changed at all, and it's so rigid in its ways? Or can I adapt things? Could I maybe do some online connections? Could I, you know, do things in a different way? So, right, ask things. In terms of my family, right, you could say, do I just despise my family and just want them to get out of my hair? Is it actually kind of nice to have a little extra time, you know, with the kids around? And is it nice to have a family meal? You know, right? Start shifting that momentum. And here's the point of that. When you start to feel a shift, that's enough. You won't do your
leaning towards more to that.
Yes.
Feeling of the generalizing it out to feeling a little bit better, and then you're leaning more to the feel good aspects of it instead of that opposite, because there is two aspects. And when you practice its vibration more to that, you ease it up a little bit, and you clearly to yourself, you know, where you're at, but also where you're most at in your vibration of the relationship with yourself and with all the things that's you know, with family, friends, and all the other things as well. So she talk about a relationship, and that was a really good one, because she's talk about it. Inner being knows your relationship with all, and you want to expand that also out a little bit. What it is for you, Jen?
Yes. So I would be happy to. So, you know, and they even held up the book, right? They said, here's the Ask and It Is Given book, which I could probably dig right off my bookshelf and hold it up for you. But, well, yeah, here, I'll do it. So here it is. They held up the book and they said,
yeah,
ask and it is given, right? This is true. The moment you experience any contrast, you have any asking, it's given. It's absolutely 100% given. It's given to that broader aspect of you. That's your inner being, that extension of God or source. And what is the gift of God, source, your inner being? When it gives something, so for example, like right now, maybe you're feeling, I don't know, some fear. So inner being says, you know, here it is. We're giving you a feeling of security and love. Here it is. Oh, we have it. And guess what? They hold steady to it. They don't waver. They don't go, oh, well, let's see what you're doing over there. No, they hold steady to it. They stand, and even in the closing, I love now on both of the Abraham Nows, you know, Abraham says, stubbornly in your vortex. They've said it before in a couple of their other recordings too, but we stand stubbornly in your vortex, meaning we're not leaving, we're not wavering, we're not looking at anything else, right? Because in all honesty, source and your inner being isn't worried about you. Source, inner being, you know, even though from a human perspective, you might be like, there's some stuff going wrong here. Hey, woohoo, wrong stuff. That's okay. From your human perspective, you could bridge all of those things forward. And however, wherever you're at in that, let that be okay, right? But know this, source doesn't see anything as going wrong. Your inner being doesn't see anything as going wrong. And the reason you feel bad is because your inner being source is feeling good, but you're resisting that. So what they encourage you to do, and they said the most powerful tool you have is meditation.
Yeah.
Right? To meditate, because when you take that 15 or 20 minutes, and this is very specific on what they said for meditation. So I don't want to leave any confusion around this, because sometimes there's different ideas of what meditation is. This is taking 15 to 20 minutes, not more. 15 to 20 minutes where you're either focused on your breathing, sitting is best. You can lay down, but if you tend to fall asleep, not the best idea. So sitting is best unless you're, pretty good, right? Or you're pretty focused. But and then you could focus on your breathing. This is how Esther did it, where she would just count her breaths in and out, whatever, however, where you're just really focused on it. Or you can find a steady, very boring noise and focus on it. Eyes closed. That's it. Meditating is not, okay. And I will step aside and say that Abraham has a guided meditation, right? They do. And you could do that, which does have some talking and some music where they're encouraging you to focus on your breathing. But there is one special piece in there. It also has a time of silence in there where it's just the music. It's not talking. So meditation, your personal meditation, now you can do guided meditations in addition to these, but your personal 15 to 20 minutes is time of silence, really. Like,
quieting your mind.
You don't want to be listening to affirmations. I'm going to program myself. No, that's not it. No. You want to hear your internal guidance. That's the most guidance. That is the guidance that is for you. And the only way you're going to hear it is if you give it a chance to be heard, to really know. Because what do we do when we're not calibrated to that frequency, we're not familiar with it, we attach to streams of human consciousness. Our mind will search and seek out a solution wherever it can find it. That looks good. That sounds good. That makes rational sense. What other book can I read? Who else might know? Who, what, where? The medical experts, the statistics, okay, you'll attach to all of that. Now, I'm not saying any of those things are bad in and of themselves. They can be just fine, but your guidance comes from within. You didn't come to regurgitate anything from anybody else. You came to feel and flow in your own way and to find benefit in the things that are around you. Some from the process, you can see what you don't want, so you know more clearly what you do want without pushing against it, right? So important, by just appreciating clarity. I see that's what they like, but it's not for me. But isn't it good, right? So, and knowing we're of benefit to one another that way, the information that has preceded us, which is all old news, by the way, really it is, but that's fine. It's a benefit, right, to us, because it can help help to give us clarity as we flow forward. But nothing is more important. Nothing supersedes that time of connection. And there is not a benefit in meditating for 3 hours or any of those kinds of things. It's 15 to 20 minutes. And of that 15 to 20 minutes, you may only find your connection for a couple minutes, because it may take you that long to quiet your mind and really come into that space of detachment where you're just really feeling that connection, and that's enough. It really is. If you get there for 2 or 3 minutes, you are golden. But you give yourself the opportunity to do this. This is really why you came, and it will give you that sense of exhilaration. And when you feel that connection, that time, then if a movie comes, watch it. If an inspired thought comes, delight in it, right? If some inspiration. And if nothing comes, that's okay. Just savor the good feeling of detachment, because that might be where you're at in that moment. But it won't take long, but a few days maybe, and you'll start to feel some guidance. And don't judge the guidance. Let the guidance be what it is. The guidance might be, and Abraham kind of joked, the guidance might be to clean out a drawer in your house. The guidance, it could be anything. The guidance could be for you to just reorganize something on your desk. The guidance could be for you to, walk somewhere, or it doesn't matter what it is. And because it seems like it doesn't match maybe some of your aspirations, that just follow it. Your inner being is guiding you on your path of most allowance, or your path of least resistance, right? It's guiding you. It's guiding you. It's calling you. And guess what? Maybe you went to go get an ice cream. Maybe there was some place where you can still go get an ice cream or something. And, in doing that, you feel so good. Well, and in feeling so good, you might get some really inspired ideas, or something will flow in. But that's the key. You got to be feeling good. So, yeah.
I'm feeling good now. Pretty good.
Yeah.
That is so good. I thank you so much for all you share there. It's so much good feelings coming through, and easy also, easy and gentle. No rush or into it, no push to that. Knowing that to be okay where everyone else are and yourself, and no like a resistance to it, but just allowing yourself to feel what you feel and moving forward in the newness that is present now, and forward in the new. Like, situation can change outside of yourself. Maybe there is going to be new structure and those things, but also she's talked about something I love you to expand on, Jen. Let's see, this is from the first session she had, and focus toward solutions, reality, and I love that thing. So do you want to expand that out too? Because
Yeah.
Feels good listening. So.
Yeah. Well, I love this. So no, in life, it's a creative process, and all parts of it have value. So there is value to that problem part, or whatever it is that's unwanted. There is value to it, but you want to make your focus upon it about this big, like tiny. You want to acknowledge it for what it is, right? This, not my preference, right? You really want to acknowledge it. And maybe you could say, and this just doesn't feel good to me, or whatever, like acknowledge it for what it is. But know, in that moment, when you witness this problem or this contrast of whatever form it is, your inner being says, we have your solution. We have it. Here it is. Come this way, right? It has it. And here's the thing. Once your inner being has the solution, it holds steady to it. It holds unwavering to it. And our universe is so brilliant. It holds it in what is referred to as a vortex, right? Which means it's spinning. It's a spinning vortex. Why is this important? Because everything in our universe is in motion forward, right? Including the asking, including what's been given. It's all in motion forward. And because that vortex is spinning, it's continually recalibrating to match you perfectly in every moment, right? So just because you may have asked for something 5 years ago, and now you don't want specifically that anymore, but you want that feeling, whatever it was, because it really is all about the feeling that it gives you, right? But it's come forward 5 years. So what you asked may come out, but it might look a little bit different than it did 5 years ago. But it's going to give you, in essence, the same feeling. It's going to bring you forward in that same way. So, and why I bring this up is because you cannot focus on the problem and the solution at the same time. So
there's a frequency, like,
right.
Like you're having the frequency of a solution is a frequency of feeling your alignment and feeling the energy comes through. When you're feeling the problem, you have resistance, and you cannot come through with the resistance.
Exactly.
And so when you are allowed that resistance to come through with the alignment more, like you shifting, then the solution can come your way.
Mm-hmm. So true.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
I love what you share there, Jen. It's so much beautiful things you share. Thanks for all you share from your experience with all of this, and you're so good at it, and in your own way. So it feels good to listen to you. So always.
Well, I love sharing all of these things because it feels good, right? It feels good. Not because I'm trying to say, oh, do this in this way, because it feels good. And it feels good to feel your alignment. And, you know, a big prevalent message that is shared is to give yourself a break. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be easy with yourself. And be easy with others too. You know, we can only be where we're at. But if we hold ourselves in a space of uncomfortability, well, guess what we can't hear? The solutions that the broader aspect of us, our inner being, God source, that have been created. We can't hear those. So it's so important to be okay with where you're at, to be good to yourself, and to grant others their beingness and to allow them to be where they are, because we can only be where we are. And you know, and consider that if you're like, I need to be somewhere else. I'm so uncomfortable here. I need to be somewhere else. I just can't. How can I get right? You just feel stuck. But if you acknowledge, right? Okay, this feels uncomfortable, right? You know, in this moment. But can I be okay with this? You know, bridge it forward with some of those broader beliefs. Can I adapt to this situation? Well, of course I can adapt. I'm an adaptable being. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like going camping, or it's like doing something, right? Something different than you'd normally do. You adapt. You adapt to different situations. And it's good to allow yourself to adapt. It's good to allow yourself to flow forward. And but in that space of feeling okay with where you're at, everything opens up to you. You'll start to feel the guidance. You'll feel called forward. You'll start to notice, yeah, that's right, the air is cleaner. Oh yeah, that's right. Look at, there's more wild. When I look outside, I'm seeing deer. Where did they come from? You know, or look at all that, right? You'll start to see different changes around you and really kind of enjoying, you know, preparing meals at home in this way. I'm kind of enjoying these family things we're doing. You'll start to see changes. I really enjoy the ways that I've adapted my business. You'll start to see that. But that comes from being okay with where you're at, right? That's the starting point. And if you feel really not okay with where you're at, take a nap, right? Take mini naps, or, you know, do anything that will allow you to feel better. Maybe even just take some deep breaths. Maybe you're at a space, you're surrounded by your kids or something, or whatever's going on, and you can't just take a break and take a nap. Breathe. Breathe, right? Be easy. Be easy with yourself. Be easy with the situation. Don't push against anything, because whatever we push against, we're growing. And what are we pushing against? If we're pushing against something, it's something we don't want. So just know that if you're pushing against something, you're growing that which is unwanted. Your focus is so powerful. And when you focus long enough to push, your focus in that is powerful in that time. So ease up on it, right? But know this, you can never really do it wrong. You can't do it wrong. You can only do it right. You can really only do it right, because everything is in motion forward. Everything is in a space of progression. So there's nothing to look back upon. Just be okay with where you're at and allow yourself to flow forward. Nothing in this universe undoes itself. right? And, even Abraham talked about this in the Saturday, the first Abraham Now. You may be wanting to think, well, I just want things to get back to normal. I'm just going to tell you, that's not going to happen. It's not going to be like that. But they're going to flow forward into your new, so-called, if you like to use the word normal. Everything is flowing forward into the new, right? And it will feel normal, good, as you flow forward, but it will be new, and embrace that newness. It's where Source is. Source dwells in the new. Your inner being is in the new, and always calling you forward to that. And if you're feeling negative emotion, acknowledge it. Be appreciative that you know that you're seeing things differently than God, Source, your inner being is. And then gently bridge forward. Gently. And know that all of it, every bit of it is for good. Every bit of it. When you're feeling your worst, this may not be that soothing to you. When you're feeling your worst, Source is feeling so good. Your inner being is feeling so good. So good. So, and why? Because Source, your inner being, is not going to come down to your level. If it did, you'd feel just fine complaining or being fearful or being scared or feeling whatever it is you're feeling. Doesn't matter if it's a negative emotion. But you can always flow forward into the new. And in that new is where Source is. That's where your inner being is. That's where everything you've asked for is. That's where your vortex is. So give yourself a break. Be easy with yourself. Any expansions on that, Espen?
Yeah.
It's good, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And no words. Yeah. It's very good. So
it feels so good, doesn't it? And you did this earlier today, and it was so moving. Prior to the start of one of the classes we were hosting, you had such beautiful appreciation flowing. And it was so beautifully inspiring for us to all hear. Do you want to speak to that, Espen? It was beautiful.
Yeah. I love something Abraham talk about, that when there is some contrast happening, like now there's things happening in a contrast, but it's an expansion, a rocket desire from the warningness of it, the feel good aspects of it, and that's the Source energy. And and I feel for myself now, for experience all of this, is I feel even more appreciation for more of those things that surrounds me. I feel more focused. She talked about the crisis. It's something that happening, when there's a crisis happening, she got more the laughter and the fun of it. She got more focused, and that's what I feel similar for myself now, that I feel more focused and more tuned in, tapped internal in my own alignment, in my own present. That I'm more present and feeling my allowingness of all of this, and also where my focus is. That also something a lot what she's sharing about it. This is good. She shared it today as well. And there is things happening, and it's good to know a little bit about it, local, what's going on, but not paying too much attention to it, to be like 24 hours, just every hour. You can have that little bit, what's going on. I'm home most of my time home now, and doing my own things and taking care of myself, and I talk with my family and just close with my family, and I'm doing this reading and I'm writing the positive aspects book. Now is the perfect time. I'm feeling the energy of it. I'm segment intending, which you and Dave, Super Dave, learned from a class. It's a really, really good one. And all this, I'm just feeling more tuned in now. And then it's like I'm easing up all of this. And like just the 2 times now what Abraham shared, I feel either more allowingness to all that is, and that I feel more appreciation for all of this. I felt like an emotional appreciation when I talked on the BestLife today, because it was a real come to a place for me to know that all is well, all is good, and as long as I'm feeling good from inside, that this is how I'm gonna look outside of the world, because it's the inside that see the world's outside. And as long, and when I feel in my alignment, and I'm deliberate feeling my alignment, I'm more aware of it, and I'm practicing vibration more into that space of alignment and feeling good and better, and better it gets. So then it's just you say the normal, but this is the newness of all of this. That's what I feel. So I feel more focused, and I feel more, and I eating more well as well. I've been doing that as well, but it's just like things are expanding out, those things I wanted before. It's just because of I'm more focused. I'm more like aware of the feeling good aspects, of all of this, and
Right.
to know that I know I am so free to choose and focus on whatever I want, and I know everyone else too, and it really doesn't matter. And as long as I'm feeling good, I know there is inspiration energy coming through for people to feel. And also that I don't thinking too much about it, but just by feeling my own alignment is the most important thing.
Well,
it's easy to appreciate from that space.
Yeah.
Feel unconditional appreciation for each and everyone and for all that is. It is.
I love that. I so loved everything that you shared, and it's so beautiful. And at the beginning, and it's true. And they talked about this in the first Abraham Now. When there is contrast, when you're experiencing something, in that moment, and even if you don't express it, and this is important, you don't have to verbalize it. You don't have to write it on a paper. You don't have to put it on your wall. Okay, none of those things. You just know that if you are feeling whatever that's not liked, you're not preferring, you don't like, you know that you want something better. You know you want to feel better. If you're feeling bad, you want to feel better. If you're feeling fear, you know you want to feel love and security, right? If you're feeling unsafe, you know you want to feel secure. You want to feel safety. Whatever it is, in that moment. It's not so important that you clearly define it in that moment, but it's important that you allow yourself to shift, and that clarity of definition will flow in. It will flow in. It will come to you. It will come in the most magnificent of ways. Sometimes we get so specific with things, and we can be easier about things. This is a big universe. And when we get so specific, sometimes we really block some of the things we really desire. So be easy about it. If you're feeling any negative emotion, acknowledge it, and then just go about shifting to a better feeling. And I feel like this is important to add this in here. The momentum is not our work. Trying to goose up your feelings is not your work. So there's great value in just getting yourself to feel that sense of better. This is better. You could call it a sense of relief, right? A sense of, yeah, things are in motion forward. Yeah, it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's okay, right? That's the place you want to get to if you're feeling strong negative emotion or any negative emotion. Now, why am I emphasizing this a bit? Because oftentimes there's this desire to get it to that space and then want to goose it up. And then I'm going to do this, and then there's going to be this, and then woohoo, it's going to be the best ever, woohoo! And now you're all that goofy again, in kind of that goofy space, because that's not real. That's not your work. Okay, your work is to get yourself to be, and then let the universe, let yourself come up into that space. You'll be feeling some of those things, but they won't be from a push space. Like, I need to get myself feeling really good. I need to really, really, really get some positive emotions flowing. Instead, get yourself just to that space. And when you can hold steady in that space of, things are looking pretty good. I'm seeing some good things coming around. I'm really starting to enjoy this. that momentum goes all on its own. And it's yours to keep then. It's because you did it. You didn't try to think it in. You didn't effort it in. You didn't push against your feeling of, I'm just starting to feel some satisfaction, but it's not enough, right? You've got a feeling. That's kind of the message you send to the universe otherwise. And it's
something coming up there. Savor your feelings. Something.
Savor your feelings.
Savor
them. Allow them. It's a joyful journey. Pretend you're eating an ice cream cone. You don't want to just gulp it down so fast. You get one of those ice cream headaches and you won't really enjoy it because you can't even taste it, right? Savor it. Lick that ice cream cone. Give yourself time. Don't eat it so fast that it's painful, right? So now you didn't really enjoy it. Just savor it. Savor it all. Even the little drips. Lick those, right? Savor that journey forward. Savor. It's really what they mean when they say the joy is in the journey. Because that ice cream cone will be all in your stomach soon enough. No rush, right? And it's a beautiful thing to just allow ourselves to flow forward, to allow ourselves to be in that stream. Espen, you had a Facebook Live 2 days ago was your meditation, and Donna French, she was on, and she said the most brilliant thing, and I just love it. So she said, the stream is source. Yeah, go in that stream. Go with the flow of the stream. That is source. That is source energy. Savor that. Do you want to rush in that? Let that build. Let that be who you are, and you are an extension of that. And you came in this physical experience to enjoy that connection, to enjoy that sifting and sorting, to savor when you ask the experience of knowing that it's given and then allowing it to physically manifest. You didn't come because you wanted to come into a physical experience where it was all perfect and it's all done. You want that feeling of hands in the clay, right? Of doing it, of being it, of becoming it. So good. Yeah. Expansions on that, Espen? It's so fun.
I feel like so good. Just listening. It's so wonderful listening to you, Jen. So much beautiful sharing and beautiful. We have so many beautiful tools and what everything you share. It's amazing. Every bit of it. I can feel your alignment. I can feel my own alignment through all of this.
I can feel yours too. Yeah, I was going to say.
Thanks a lot. And for everyone who's in here, also, I can feel your alignments too. And we all are in this together. It's something I love. But also what Abraham shared, that we are all in this together. It's a collective consciousness, and we can choose. Know what side do we lean to, and also that be easy about it, like you said. Be gentle with yourself. Be easy with all of this. There is no rush. There is no push. And when we are more calibrating into that better and better feelings, and calibrating generally those things that feels good to us, then more we practice is vibration. We call it. It's when she shared when you're meditating, also power about that. It's like, when you're taking the 50 minutes off, just focus on your breathing. The power of it is that immediately when the thought releases, when there is no thought, the vibration arises and the energy arises. Also, you can feel the energy. You feel more alive. You feel more easy. You feel more flow in the energy of who you are. And then something inside of yourself, that there is something inside of you that is truth of that vibration of who you really are. And that you can ease up about all of this and feel gentle. And more you do, and more you feel, and more you be this in this vibration, more you experience how you experience your life from every day, every moment.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful thing. And I love that it's just to get easier and easier and easier it gets. You should talk about that today also. Easier it gets. Yeah. And that's the vibration of who we really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's always easy, and more to come. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I'm so happy that we, just took this time to expand this out and to really let you know wherever you're at is okay. Let yourself be okay and flow forward into a better feeling. Oh, wherever. And if you're feeling really good, that's okay too. I mean, I'm not saying you have to feel bad by any means, but if you are, it's okay, right?
Mm.
Being okay with where you're at is allowing you to get to where you're going. And you're always going to be going somewhere, right? This is an unending journey of awesomeness and magnificence. And I'm so glad we're all in this together. We're all doing this together.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
There is, yeah, when I see looking at that, what you shared here from the first one, you talk about focus towards solution reality. I can see that becoming of all of this.
Yes.
I can see that what I already see in my vibration is that people will interact with each other more. There will be more connection than ever. I can feel, and that there will be more teamwork. Everyone will support and uplift each other more and more, and also to reflect to yourself, to relax more, calm down a little bit. Maybe there was a little bit more rush in this because there is a reason all this happening. Suddenly you have to just stop and not do so much about with work and just like taking care of yourself. So it's a beautiful time for newness and refreshment.
Yes. Yeah.
And it is not bad, those things happening. Also, if you come, I come to believe this is not bad and this is good. I feel good about this. I don't know there will be a great outcome of all that. I can feel the vibrational reality of the of all of this. That will be something more. It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels really good.
It feels really good. Well, and I just feel to add this and before we end off, because it's important, right? And you can feel that, yes, there is wonderful things ahead of us, but it's not necessary and it's not even really beneficial for you to focus there, right? Too much, right? It's really not.
No.
Focus on what you can do. Be okay with where you're at. Focus on what you can do. Your life may be in a whole different pattern right now. So focus on your family meals. Focus on what you can do in your space, or focus on those things. Focus where you're at. It's like the analogy of being in the car, right? We know, not the rear view mirrors. We're well aware. We've talked about that. We also know, don't cut the hole in the floorboard, right? This is like if you're watching the news all day long, right? You got a hole in the floorboard and you're just stuck into, wow, this is what's happening. It's not going to go well for you, right? You're going to crash, right? But when you're looking at your windshield, just that normal view, this view out here, that's where source is. This space, that space where your normal eye can see. Don't mount a telescope on your dash and look 500 miles or as far as you can see through that telescope and hold your focus there, because you're going to crash too. Because it's saying, I'm not okay where I'm at. You got to be where you're at. Source has that broader view. Your inner being has it. It's holding true to it, and it's guiding you on your path of least resistance. That view you can see out of your windshield, right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's letting you know when there's a curve coming. You can segment intend. You can appreciate all those wonderful things. It's letting you know when there's a stop sign or a red light or when you're going up a hill. All these things that it's right in front of you. So
yeah, so true, Jen. Thanks. That's really good that you share. Thanks for that. Yeah. And it's a clarification to know when you do your work, you don't want to focus on other things. You want to focus on that work you're doing and the things, and being aware and being paying attention to your own present and being aware of what you're doing, being aligned and not focus on other things. So that's a great description of how to be okay where you're at and do the best as you can where you're at as well. Because there is always something she shared also. There's always, and that was a fantastic thing she shared, there's always an opportunity for an improvement in your feelings. There's always improvements in your feelings is that it's always available.
Yes.
And what of such a freedom, because you're never stuck. You're always moving.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if you feel like you're stuck, you're going problem, solution, right? You're going back and forth like this, problem, solution, back and forth, and back, and that makes you feel stuck, right? That's when you feel stuck, you know, because you're trying to like go back and forth, right? So just be mindful.
So good. Yeah. I love that. And that's what the power, I love what you and Dave share about the segment intending. It's a really powerful tool, because then I'm writing and it's like, you know, when I'm running now, it's something I love doing now. It's easy to just a little bit sharing, and it's something I feel different now when I'm running, is because I'm segment intending. I say exercising, I'm putting in the topic, and I'm writing down. I love feeling energized. I love feeling the fresh air and looking at the great view we have at home here. And when I do this, the segment intending, and then when I'm running, I can feel more aware of those things that I segment intending, and that I feel more energized, and then I feel the view and the freshness and feeling good when I'm running. So it's so powerful, because we have it's great tools, and also to know that it's all from within. We are already, it's already good. Yeah, from inside we can practice this vibration and feeling good and better, and also be easy and gentle in general about in all of this. So I would say thank you so much, Jen, for everything you share and we together share, and for all of you who come here in this Facebook Live with us and the Best Life Now, co-creating with yourself, your comments, and co-creating with each other, because we are all in this together. So this is wonderful time for come together, for co-create and expand and become more of those things we desire for and feel good in. So love you guys so much, and happy day, and see you on Thursday.
Yes.
What time will it be? Thursday at
2 p.m. Central. So
2 p.m.
let's see, that's 3 plus 8 p.m. 8 p.m. over in Europe, Central European.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yes. There you go. It's so good. So good. So thanks a lot, Jen, for everything you share, and thanks to all of you also. So this is good. So,
yes.
So, more to come.
Yes, more to come. Love you all.
Love you all.
Thank you, Espen. Thank you, everybody. You're awesome. Love you. Bye-bye.